Welcome in, everybody, back to the TBC Media Studios. I'm Zach Ewing. This is a special edition of BVarsity Live. We're here with Cleveland Browns quarterback Cody Kessler and his mother, Cody Kessler. It's good to have you guys here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, finally made it.
Yeah. Cody, as those who don't know, played quarterback at Centennial. I don't know who wouldn't, but and also then at USC for 5 years, and now you're in Cleveland, or you will be in Cleveland next week for rookie camp.
Yeah.
It's sunk in a little bit. You've had 6 days since you were drafted. What are you feeling right now, Cody?
Yeah, it's been a crazy process. I don't know if it's hit me yet. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and relax. As soon as I got drafted Friday, I was on a plane the next morning at 5 a.m. We left Bakersfield at 1:30 a.m. and drove down to LAX. And we were out in Cleveland the next day for 2 days and met with the coaches, did a couple press conferences, and then came back here and it was right back into workouts and training and getting ready. And it's been crazy, but for me, it really is awesome. Just working as hard as I could, as a kid, growing up in Bakersfield and then playing Centennial and then going to USC and, have an opportunity to play in the NFL. And as a kid, as I'm sure everyone is playing, Pee Wee football, it's a dream of yours,
right.
Playing the NFL. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to get a chance to live out that dream.
Have you, and maybe these have happened for you for years now because at SC and everything, but you have to have these pinch me moments, right? I mean, I get a pinch me moment when I see my name in print, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Here you are, drafted in the NFL. Have you had that time where you say, is this really happening to me? Is this really me?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Just bizarre moments, just kind of the whole process or getting the phone call was one that was kind of, just you've never done before, obviously. You didn't know what to expect, and it happened, when the Browns called me. And then, talking to my agent about contracts and getting ready and this and that and doing these different things. And, it's stuff that you hear about all the time as a kid, and now it's really happening. And it's really becoming, a reality for me. And it's awesome. But for me, it's just the beginning. Getting drafted, doesn't mean you've made it. It's just the beginning, and you got a long process to go, and now you have to prove yourself at the next level. And I'm excited. All I wanted was an opportunity, and now I have mine, and I'm going to make the most of it. And
you could have been drafted by a team that had a quarterback that everybody knew was going to be the starter. That's not the case here. I mean, they've got 5 quarterbacks in camp. They've let it be known publicly that you'll be competing for that starting spot. Is that what you wanted, or would you have rather been an understudy for a year or two and learn some things that you're kind of being thrown into the fire here?
I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously Robert Griffin is there, the third, and Josh McCown, a guy who started last year, a good amount of games, and some of the other guys, the other quarterbacks are there. Austin Davis, another guy that's played, some football games. So for me, I'm excited to come in and compete. And, the competitor in me, always wants to come in, and I think that's everyone's mindset. The mindset that they should have is come in and compete for a starting job, whether it's reality or not. You have to go in there and tell yourself, I'm going to prepare as a starter, I'm going to get ready as a starter, and I'm going to compete as a starter. But at the same time, I don't want to be arrogant about it. Obviously those guys I mentioned have been starters in the NFL. I've played games. I want to learn from them as much as possible. I want to be a sponge around them and see the way they do things and how they prepare themselves. And but at the same time, those guys I'm competing against. So I'll be excited, obviously when I get my chance, but all I know is I want to be ready, whether I end up winning the job or whether I have to wait, a couple of weeks or even a year or whatever it may be. I just want to be prepared and be ready to go when I get my shot.
What do you think of Cleveland?
I like it. It's cool. I've only got to go out there twice. I went in March for my visit, and then we went, obviously, the day after the draft. Haven't got to see it a whole lot. We drove around a little bit and went to dinner, a couple nice spots, but I'm excited. It's really cool downtown. I think the feel, even the outskirts of it, outside of downtown, kind of has a Bakersfield feel to it. It's kind of a blue-collar town, and there's not a whole lot, but you feel the vibe from the people there, and you feel people that are excited and proud of where they're from, and it really reminded me a lot of Bakersfield.
And they got pride in their hometown. I know their hometown teams, and it's one of those feelings where we support our own because nobody else will. Sort of thing.
Exactly.
And so that's definitely the feel. Christy, I got to ask you as mom, how much orange and brown has entered the wardrobe in the last week?
When we went back there, the coaches loaded up a bag for him to take home, to bring home to us when we were there. And the coach came over at dinner and said, the side bag area is yours. So I was excited and opened it up and had some hats and shirts.
Start picking through, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I had to share with Valeria, his girlfriend. But we went online and started ordering also. And in the airport, we picked up a couple things. So my favorite's my bling cup that says, Browns on it.
A cup with bedazzled. I don't know.
I
assume that wasn't mine. So
some of the stuff's probably earmarked for the women in the family right now.
Yeah.
The Browns are not they're not the USC of the NFL. Let's put it that way. They're not the sexiest franchise. They've been the butt of jokes. They've been the little brother in that division and things like that. Does that appeal to you though? I mean, it seems like you've sort of taken that underdog mentality.
I've always kind of had that. And being from Bakersfield, and a lot of the other guys notice that is that we don't get the respect we deserve sometimes. And obviously there's a lot of great athletes here, and some of the guys I played against in high school could have been starters, for a bunch of D1 teams, but we might get overlooked a couple times. But then going to USC, I was an underdog there. I was third string, and it kind of seemed that there was a writing on the wall that they were going to go a different direction than me for the starter whenever Matt left Barkley, and I kind of, like I said, just put my head down and kept my mouth shut, and really got an opportunity, to make the most of it when I got my chance, and I kind of took it and ran with it. And now, going into Cleveland, that, like you said, it has been, I think struggled over the last few years, but I think Coach Jackson, the way he coaches and the short time I've known him, his mindset and his mentality about the game is really positive. And I really feel just the vibe when I was there and from, the players and some of the coaches in the front office that, this organization is ready to start going the right direction, and I'm excited, along with the other guys, in my draft class that we just got drafted, to hopefully be there for the start of something great.
Hugh Jackson, you mentioned as a head coach, a new head coach there, and known as a quarterbacks guy. Who does he remind you of in your career, or is it a different vibe as a professional? I mean, what's your relationship like with him in the early going?
Yeah, I think he's different from different coaches I've had, competitive wise though, and wanting to win and also wanting the best out of his players. Coach Nixon obviously brought a lot out of that for me, and he made me a better player, and he's something that I can kind of compare all my coaches to in a way is something that was kind of a start line for me, because he really helped me get to where I am today, and Coach Jackson has that same mentality. He really cares about the players. One of his first things he told me was, obviously we want you guys to be great players, but most importantly, we want you to be great men. We're still developing you, and we want you to go on to be, great people for the rest of your life. And that's something that obviously is important, I think, in this draft process, is they pick guys that had the right character, guys they wanted that they're going to work hard and come in and be reliable, and guys they can trust. And for me, I felt that was a very important part of it, is getting to know Coach Jackson. And I can't wait, like I said, next week to get out there and kind of get on the field and just see his philosophy and the way he coaches.
You talk about developing, and I know at USC that's all you did, because off the field, on the field, there was obstacles.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point where you, because you always seem so composed publicly and to me, and was there ever a point where it was just, it felt like too much? And I don't know, I'm thinking specifically, I mean, you're a head coach, and this is when you're a senior, but he's in the news for all the wrong reasons. You've got to step up at that banquet where he's, and talk. There had to be a point where you're looking up to the sky and saying, why me? I mean,
I tell people, I don't know if it was a good thing, but I got used to it over the years to handling different situations like that. But I think the biggest challenge for me was how to handle each situation, because it was different. With Coach Kiffin, there was no really off the field stuff. It was just, we weren't producing like we wanted to be, and he ended up getting let go. Really out of nowhere, and it was kind of surprising for us. And then, going in, we had Coach O take over, and then he got let go, which was, another thing to handle with. And then, Coach Sark or Coach Helton actually jumped in there and had a game to coach. And then Coach Sark comes in.
4 coaches in 1 year, right?
Yeah. And then Coach Sark comes in, and, he's doing great, got everything going the right way. And that one was probably one that really hurt the most too, is because I got to know him a lot, over those years, and he really is a great football coach. He really is a good person, and was good to me, good to my family, good to all the players on the team. But unfortunately, had things that were outside of football, and obviously, it was release and different type of substance abuse, and it was unfortunate because he really was the right guy for the job at the time, and that was probably the hardest one for me was dealing with that. On how to tell these, not for me or not any of the other guys I've been through before, but these 17, 18-year-old freshmen that, are looking up to you as a leader is telling us, okay, what do we do now? How do we handle this? And for me, I always had to find a new way to do that. And I always tried to take everything off the negative, make it a positive. So when I'd step in front of the media, or when it was, Salute to Troy, our banquet, when I had to step up and talk, I immediately try to direct it to positive. Like, this is unfortunate this happened and this and that, and we wish them the best. But, this week we have, whoever we're playing, and Juju, we're looking for him to have a breakout game. We're looking for this guy to contribute in this factor and try to take it to something else. But, for me, it was I think, a blessing in disguise. It was bittersweet because it really prepared me for all types of adversity, especially going to the NFL, because it's a business and things aren't guaranteed, so it really helped me.
That was my next question was, you feel like you've almost been in the pros in some respects for a couple of years now.
Yeah, it really does. And especially being in LA, until this year, obviously the LA Rams are now, but we were, the professional team in LA, right in the middle of downtown LA. And we were, the pro football team, I guess, quote unquote, in LA. And the media market was huge, and we really had to handle ourselves and conduct ourselves as professionals. And me in particular, just through all the adversity and things that happened. And, I think, I talked to Soma Vanuku, our fullback, and, the way he said it was, I think, the best. And it sounds cliche, but the way we were talking about it was that we're going through these dark times and rough patches. Hopefully that we keep SC relevant so that they can have a bright future. And I think that's what we did. And obviously the competitor in me wanted to win every game and be a national champion, but it wasn't a reality at times when different things happen, in different scenarios and injuries, coaching changes. But for what happened and what we went through, these last 3 years, I think we had some great teams that did a lot of great things.
When you're preparing for the draft, and I know that you're a guy who doesn't like to pay attention to what everybody's saying, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, whatever, you had to have had some sense that maybe you could fall in the draft, the teams that liked you, the teams that didn't. Was there a sense of sort of why is everyone still doubting me there, or did you have that? I know Cleveland stepped up and took you in the 3rd, but that was unexpected almost.
Yeah, I mean, it was unexpected in the sense of the draft experts and
right.
the guys said
experts,
that and stuff.
Right,
and that's what. And I talked to some of them too. And the guy by the name of Bucky Brooks was a guy that works at NFL Live and does stuff for the NFL. And he told us from the very beginning, the guys from my agency were working out, and he came in and said, "Listen, don't listen to me. Don't listen to any of these other guys. Don't listen to any of us. It's my job, but you can't get caught up in that. You got to focus on what you control, and that's how you perform in front of teams. That's how you perform in front of general managers. That's how you perform in front of owners, coaches, the guys that really matter, because at the end of the day, they're the teams picking you, And for me, I kind of blocked out all Twitter, all Instagram, all that stuff. Tried to stay away from what people were saying about me or people were saying about this and that in the NFL shows, and I really just kind of control what I control, and that was how I performed. And when I got my opportunities at the Senior Bowl and Combine and Pro Day, and these private workouts and meetings, I took advantage of them. And I wanted to really kind of leave myself and market myself as a guy that may not be thought of as a high round draft pick or anything, but a guy that's going to come in and work hard and be prepared, and that really wants to be successful in this league. And I think coaches saw that, and Browns obviously really felt comfortable with that, and the coaches I talked to too were telling me different things like, hey man, we think you're a day 2 guy, all these different things and the abilities you have. So I didn't know what to think. I was hearing both sides of it. So I told my agent too, leading up to the draft, I said, I don't want any intel. I don't want you to tell me anything about where they think I'm going to go or anything or what teams you talk to. I just want to be surprised.
And your dad was in here saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You barely even watched any of the first round because you figure I'm probably not going in the first round. Just let me know when somebody's going to call. So your agent, who happens to also be by the name Kessler.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, funny story.
Ironically.
Kind of taps you on the shoulder 2 picks before the Browns pick and say, hey, this could be it. When did you now then they tried to call you and it hung up 3 times, right? I mean, this has got to be
bizarre, yeah. It was, I mean, we knew going into it that Cleveland was a team that obviously was very interested in me. And I obviously he didn't tell me, but he knew that the 2nd or 3rd round was a possibility for them to take me. And they had another pick in the 3rd round, their last pick of the 3rd round. Yeah. And they're obviously the TV's, I think, 5 minutes ahead of or 5 minutes behind of
right.
real life. So they're about 3 or 4 picks away, and I kind of just got up from my seat, started walking, and my phone rang, and everyone in the room just went quiet. We all looked over, and it rang one time and then went straight to voicemail. And I tried to pick it up really fast. Then I tried to call back, and then they were trying to call me, I think, because mine went straight to voicemail. Then they tried to call me again while I was on my phone, went straight to voicemail. So it was kind of funny back and forth. And then I get a call from, but it said Ohio, area code. And
so you have a feeling. At
I
that
knew.
point,
I kind of had a feeling. Okay, they're coming up, and we kind of laughed. And it was funny. My old teammate Randall Telfer played tight end at USC, who's now with the Browns.
Okay.
As this was going back and forth, these phone calls in a matter of minute and a half, he texted me with like an emoji of like a wink face or like a weird emoji face, kind of giving me a hint. And at that point, I was like, all right, that makes sense now. And then they called me from someone in the office, someone sitting in there from their phone. And, Sashi Brown, their executive vice president, was on the phone and got to talk to Coach Jackson and everything. And it was just, a dream come true at that moment.
What was it like for Mom?
Well, I was with him. I wasn't expecting it either. And I thought they were just calling to talk. And his agent walked up to me right as Cody finally picked up the call and high-fived me. And I go, what? And he goes, this is the call, Mom. And he took my shoulders and turned me around. And I go, this is the call? I had no idea. And tears, and he said, and he goes, I don't want you to miss this. So he turned me around and pointed me at him. And, it was just amazing.
Well, and I mean, it goes without saying you're proud, but can you even put that into words,
No.
what it feels like?
I can't. I think the biggest part for me is you watch him go through all this and you watch him train so hard, and we block things out too because he does such a great job at it, but you still know that he earned it and he deserves it. So to sit there and watch him get that call and not have that look on his face anymore, what?
Don't let her fool you. Block these things out.
She's paying attention.
She
is the retweeter
she's
in the
sneaky.
family. I will
Yeah,
say.
she is. She's sneaky on Twitter and these blogs. And she's like, I don't read them. And she's over there checking and stuff. But no,
you'd go crazy if you read everything. You
He
would.
has taught me to not let it get to me. And so I still look at it. He doesn't. And I learned a long time ago not to tell him anything that I see.
Yeah.
Well, because you're Mama Bear and you want to protect her.
Yeah.
But
It's hard.
they've been good about it. I mean, obviously they want the best for me, but yeah, I mean at SC it's such a high media platform and people always have their own opinion. And sometimes she'd be like, someone said this, I want to get on there and say this, this, and this, and I'm like, just let it go, take a deep breath.
Yeah, please don't.
This negativity is completely irrelevant. Just kind of focus on us and keep it in that. And they've been great with it. They've really helped me out.
Yeah.
How good did it feel? And I don't know, maybe you blocked this out too, but the Browns had a press conference that night, and they were getting grilled, Jackson and Sashi, and I can't remember who all was there, about that pick because nobody expected it. And they said, well, wouldn't he have been there in the 4th round? Wouldn't he have been there in the 5th round? Why'd you take him now? And at one point, Hugh Jackson just said, y'all have to trust me on this.
Yeah.
Okay. How good did it feel to hear him say that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think there's such a perception in the media of, like I said, these different draft talks and where they think people are going to go, and it's funny because there's a lot of great quarterbacks in this draft, but the list that they have of where guys are going to go is so I guess drilled in people's minds is that they believe it too. Like this is how it's supposed to be because this so and so said this, so and so said that, and I think that's where that came from was. It didn't go in that order at all. There were guys that were taken in, the first 3 rounds, not even the quarterback position, that weren't even on a top 250 draft board. Guys didn't see that, but these teams see that, and these coaches see that, and these coaches see the type of players they are, and they're professionals at doing that. And to have, my head coach now, my new head coach, to get up there and defend me and really just say that he trusts me and tell him to trust him about this and just kind of know that he believes in me and has my back is something that, before I've even got to their facilities to start working out, is something that's awesome and gives me a bunch of confidence going into it.
I don't even know if your signing bonus has arrived, but if it has or if it hasn't, what's the first thing you want to buy with it? I mean, do you have a splurge purchase in mind? To just I know you don't want to spend it all or anything, but just something in mind.
No, obviously I'm going to be smart. Obviously, really smart with my money. Just because we didn't have a whole ton growing up, and it's really cool now to get the work for everything that I've gotten. And I don't know. I don't have a car right now, so that's why she had to bring it over.
That's a good one.
I have my truck from high school, but that thing's done for. So I'm probably gonna get a car when I get out to Cleveland, but I'm not a car guy. It'll be a truck, or we're looking at those the Jeep, the Rubicon, those nice Jeeps out there, kind of a Cleveland type car out there, but. Or a truck, but that'll probably be my, if I do get one, my only purchase right now.
Well, now you say Cleveland's a little bit like Bakersfield, but one thing I noticed about your schedule, you don't come west. I think the farthest west you come is Nashville.
Yeah.
Against Tennessee, and so it's going to be kind of a whole new world in that respect. How much do you still feel like your roots are going to be here? I mean, even though you're out east and you'll be making headlines out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's obviously I don't know, what's going to happen. There's different things that could happen, and obviously I want to play for a long time in Cleveland and stay there and be the quarterback of the future. But long-term wise, I don't know. If it works out and Cleveland just comes comfortable for me, I might end up staying there or wherever I might live in the future. Mm-hmm. But this will always be home for me. And Bakersfield is the place that raised me and where I come from and where my roots are from, and I defend it with my life when I go to LA or different places, and people want to harp on Bakersfield or give me a hard time from being from there. But I really love it, and it's cool to talk to the guys that are from Bakersfield that are so proud to be from here. And for me, it'll always be home, and I don't know long term if I'll ever end up back in Bakersfield or where I'll end up living, but this will always be considered my home.
And you talk about guys, Derek Carr was in the league, Ryan Matthews, Joey Porter was in the league, and they seem to come to gravitate back towards Bakersfield as well. It just has that effect on people.
It's just your friends and your family, and it's just the vibe here, and everyone you grew up with, and everyone that's so proud of you. And for me, I'd go down to LA, and I made a lot of great friends there and teammates, and guys that'll be my friends for a long time now. But still to this day, Bakersfield is where my best friends, my closest friends are, my family, people that I grew up with that. I still come back, and it still I'm still happy to come back. I love coming back and seeing everybody and enjoying the time.
Speaking of Derek, I know you and he didn't overlap a whole lot because he was in Texas for some of that time. Has he reached out to you at all? I know you've worked out together some. And
I haven't had a chance to talk to Derek.
Yeah.
I still haven't gone through all my phone texts either or my phone calls, but I got a lot of texts obviously when that happened. A lot of people congratulating me.
Can you put a number on it? How many texts?
Oh, at least over 200.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. But I think I still have like 85 or 90 unread or something I haven't looked at. And
Probably have more than that, 'cause
I just haven't had a chance to really,
Breathe,
just kind of sit down and take it in. I mean, it's cool, doing this, but it's either doing a talk show or doing this or doing an interview or working out or throwing or talking to someone else about it. And I don't know if it really will hit me, but for me, I still feel like in my mindset and my coach the other day, my quarterback coach Steve Calhoun was like, man, has it hit you yet that you're an NFL quarterback? And I told him, I said, I don't think so because I haven't done anything yet. I haven't proved myself yet. And I feel like the competitor in me and the drive I've always had that's got me this far is telling me that, okay, you got drafted, but so what? You haven't made it yet. You haven't done anything yet. You got to take it to the next level. And that's something I've always kept, as a competitor.
When did it hit you growing up? I mean, Ron Stapp, who works here, coached you at one point, I think, in the Little League, and said he fell down and hurt his arm and started crying. That's the Cody story I know. In third grade, and so there's people here who know you from way back when. At what point did you it become reality that it's not just a dream that I'm going to play professionally? It's a reality that this could happen for me. I
think just in I don't know if it was high school. I think it was kind of one step at a time in high school. I remember when I got my first offer, my sophomore year from New Mexico State. I remember I was sitting there with Coach Nixon, and he told me, and I was on cloud nine. I was just beyond belief, just shocked that it was happening. And then it kept happening. More offers came in, and it became reality. It sunk in. And then I get to USC, and I'm playing there, and I didn't even know if I was going to get a chance to play or be a starter. And then I become a starter and have a great junior year and start hearing this stuff about the draft, and then finish my senior year, and they're saying, oh, yeah, okay, this and that about getting drafted. And then, I don't know, it just really hit me, and it became reality. Yeah, we got old photos up here. That was the day I think Dylan looks a lot more different than you do. He's got a full beard now and everything. But yeah, it's just looking back on those times, those moments. It's really cool, that transition too, for something. I mean, any athlete would tell you, from something becoming a dream to reality. Not necessarily because it happened, but because of what it took to actually make it happen. Yeah, and I'll kind of wrap up with this, and that's because you've worked so hard. You get to a spot like this, and you said you were on Skype, kind of an unexpected phone call, talking playbook for more than an hour today. You don't want to let this go at this point. I mean, it seems what next for you this summer and everything. How much of this is trying to enjoy the moment, and how much of it is just full speed ahead? I got to work and grind now. I think it's all full speed ahead, work and grind. I mean, I think when I got drafted that night, some family members, everyone came over, and on Monday, this is Monday, everyone kind of came over, and some other friends and family, we talked about it. But, I was almost excited people were coming over to say hi, but at the same time, I was like, all right, I just want to get to Cleveland. I just want to get out of here. I just want to get to work. And I'm excited. I really am. And obviously I'm thankful. I really am. And I don't want to make it sound like, I'm like, okay, I got drafted, I don't care. Right, it is something that, is big for me, and it's a big accomplishment for me, and it's very humbling at the same time, and to share with my friends and family is something that, I'll cherish for the rest of my life. But at the same time, like I said, the competitor in me is just ready to get to work, and I got to stay full speed ahead and get ready to go. So you fly out to Cleveland Tuesday for rookie camp, which starts a week from today. 12th, yep. Yeah, and how much? I mean, are you still supposed to be picking up the playbook at that point? They expect you to know it at that point. Yeah, they gave it to me Saturday and said, this is get in it, get going. And I've been studying as hard as I can the last few days. And Coach Hamilton, like I said, our quarterback coach, we were FaceTiming, getting going on the playbook, and he's walking me through it as I'm looking at it and going over stuff. And we're kind of going piece by piece. And tomorrow, he's going to call me again tomorrow. We're going to pick up where we left off and keep going. And I want to hit the ground running when I get there. I want to be full speed and ready to go. And because the NFL is very large, the mental side of it, being able to read different defenses, know a playbook, understand the concepts, understand what is really happening, what a coach wants from you. So I want to be 100% prepared when I get there. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Cody, hey, we appreciate it. We know Bakersfield's proud of you, and we really appreciate you taking the time to take care of your hometown as well. So thanks for taking the time today and always. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And Cody Kessler, we know you're proud too, and thanks for carting him around and all that sort of stuff when he's in town. And this is Cody, and we'll see him on TV probably the next time we see him. So this is BVarsity Live Special Edition with Cody Kessler. I'm Zach Ewing, signing off.